Forget the hairdryer, forget the quick development times. What if I told you there is an even easier way to create clear, consistent, high contrast color transparencies every single time? I put out a video a few months ago all about how to create Polaroid transparencies. And in this guide, I talked about a very detailed overview of how to do it. However, since I put out that video, I have not been 100% satisfied with the results, especially with the color film. I have tried everything. I have, of course, followed my own method and what I was doing, but I have noticed that if the film was not 100% stored properly, for example, when I went to the store and purchased some from MediaMarkt, it was sitting on the shelf for a long time and I had problems getting the film apart. It seemed the only way this worked was if the film was super fresh, direct from Polaroid, and had been stored properly at my house once I got it. If, for example, even the film was sitting in the printer for a while before I tried to use it again, I still had problems getting the film to come apart. Sometimes I would end up overheating it and then I'd have that sticky, gooey layer coming off and it would tear the emulsion. Other times I would have to hurry up the whole process and I would be disappointed with the fact that the images were so low contrast or lacking in color. So since I put out that video, I have been continuing my process as I have worked on some new art pieces that involved a lot of transparencies. As I was burning through another pack of Polaroid film, getting inconsistent, terrible results because I was peeling and breaking the emulsion almost every single time. I was so frustrated and I thought to myself, how can I heat this Polaroid image up faster and more consistently than with a hairdryer so that I can get the type of image that I desire with high contrast, that looks fully developed. And that's when the idea came to me. This is a super easy trick. However, I will say it only works for color film. Do not try this with black and white film. It will not work. It will turn your pictures yellow. So unless you want yellow instead of black and white pictures or more of a sepia tone, that might work. But ultimately, the same method will not work with the black and white film. It is a different type of chemistry and it reacts differently to this process. And here you can just see the results. You can see the difference between the previous Polaroid transparencies that I was making and how they are lacking in contrast or lacking in color. They come out more green. You can't really tell what the image is in comparison to the newer ones where it looks high contrast, you have a lot of color, it looks vibrant. So what you will need for this method, you will need a Polaroid lab in order to print your images. Of course, you can also use a Polaroid camera and use freshly photographed images and then do this process, that's fine too. You will need a tray or a bowl, some hot water or a hot water kettle so that you can heat up the water. You will need very hot water for this process. And of course, you'll need some scissors. And I highly recommend using a pair of gloves as well so you don't get the chemistry all over your fingers. To start this method, you'll go ahead and print your photo using the Polaroid lab. Once the image has come out of the lab or camera, go ahead and set it aside and start your timer. I was putting the timer for about 5 minutes. Of course, you can also just set your timer for about 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes and go ahead and just let your picture develop. Once it hits about 2.5 to 3 minutes, you will take the image and you will drop it in very hot, practically boiling water. The important thing here is do not cut your image, do not open it, do not do anything. Literally just take the freshly shot or printed image and drop it in the hot water after about 2.5 to 3 minutes. Once you do this, you'll see that the image develops much faster. You will start to see that instead of having that foggy blue and gray color, suddenly all of the images will be coming through. You'll get the high contrast. It will develop much, much, much faster than it was developing prior. And usually Polaroid images can take up to 15 minutes or so to develop. So this is a really good way to kind of rush that development process. I left it in the water for anywhere from 2 to 2.5 minutes. You can also leave it in a little bit longer, but after about 2.5 minutes, I didn't see much change regarding the contrast and the color. It seemed pretty much as fully developed as it was going to get. And if I left it in there too long, it started to get a little bit soggy. Just make sure that you have some gloves and you will carefully just cut the bottom half of the image. Then you can go ahead and use your fingers and just pull the image apart. You can, of course, use the scissors to slice open this little black tab here, or to use a box cutter and then just go ahead and separate it. I did a lot of it just with my fingers and I didn't really need to go an extra step for that. But as you can see, it is coming apart very clear. Sometimes there is a small trace of some of the chemicals that will stay on it. But if you want to get rid of that, just go ahead and take a paintbrush, dip it in your hot water bowl or tray, and go ahead and just carefully remove those little specks off of the back of the image. And that's it. Nothing else needs to be done. Go ahead and let the image dry, or you can go ahead and dry it with a hairdryer to speed up that process if you need to, and just let it set. You don't have to do anything else. I find it best to just let it completely dry before I start messing with the rest of the chemicals and taking off the white border and what have you. Maybe you even want the white border, go ahead and keep it. But for me, I usually remove it and I wait until the chemicals have completely dried, because I just find it a lot easier to work with the powdered white dry chemicals than to accidentally get the wet chemicals onto the back of the image and then have another problem with trying to remove it. That could really mess up the emulsion, and I just try to minimize the amount of time that I'm spending with the paintbrush trying to rub the back of it. Once you have done that, the whole process is over and you have beautiful, high contrast, clean color transparencies. I hope this helps you guys. If you have any questions or comments, please go ahead and leave them in the comment section below. And that's it. It is super, super simple to do. You will get consistent results every single time, and you can really just enjoy. Of course, with the timing and everything, do it at your own pace, what you want or what feels comfortable for you. You can adjust it however you need to, but at least with this method, it allows a lot more time for the image to develop, and you get a lot better contrast, you get more color, and overall it looks much nicer in the end. If you found this video helpful, please go ahead and hit that like button or share this video with others. And if it's your first time here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on your post notifications. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Erin, and I'll see you guys next time.